What's up, guys? Midnight Snack here, bringing you RimWorld Alpha 11, the Sappers and Traps build. So in this video, we're going to go over the patch notes. I'm going to show you guys how to edit your default save location so it's not in your app data folder. And then we're actually going to get started on a world. I'm going to actually run this series side by side with Alpha 10. I was kind of trying to decide if I wanted to do that, just because it would have been kind of a pain to have to sit there and make sure I always backed up and put the right folder in the right location and all sorts of stuff. So with this build, because you can edit your data folder location, I can actually run it side by side, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, so we're going to go over the patch notes real quick, show you guys the command line thingy, and then we're going to be playing on an ice sheet, because ice sheets are now playable by default. So yeah, that's what we're going to be trying with this build. And it's probably going to be a little harder on us than it is on the raiders, because hopefully the raiders will just die. That might actually make it a little too easy, but we'll see how it goes. So let's get started. It's here. This update includes clever new AI strategies, including sappers who blast and dig around your defenses, and raiders who burn crops. I've also added a number of incidents, including several long-term atmospheric conditions like volcanic winter and toxic fallout. There's also an array of new traps for players to use, dozens of new features, and hundreds of fixes and small improvements. Full change list is available at the end of this post, which we're going to be jumping to in just a moment. If you do own the game, you should have received your email saying the game has been updated. If you didn't get your email and you still own the game, then your Sunnyvale link should be updated. It always has the current build, so make sure you go ahead and get that. If you don't own the game, it's $30, and there will always be a link in the description of every video I put up where you can purchase that game, or at least where I got it from. But if you go to this website, ludion.com/blog, just click the RimWorld tab, it will take you to the purchase page. Quick note, this build will not load old save games or old worlds, so just don't try it. If you would like to see all of the new changes in a quick, I say quick, in an 18-minute video, Tynan goes over all the changes. He has some colonies loaded up, and he just adds stuff to them and shows you guys what's going on. So if you want to see how everything works, then I definitely recommend checking out this video on the blog page. Otherwise, hopefully it will eventually happen to our colony that we start. Let's go over the change list real quick. AI added a new raider type, sappers. They attempt to dig or blast their way around your hardest defensive point. This circumvents killbox-like strategies. Now, it only circumvents them partially, because not every raider will have sappers, or not every raid will be sappers. But it's actually pretty cool. He spawned some in the video, and basically the way it works is they see like the main, I guess they see the entrances into your base that you have set up, and then they just pick a point to go around to, basically. So in the video, instead of going into the kill box full of turrets, they just started going over to a wall, and they started mining out the rocks, and then they blew holes in the walls and then just flooded into the base. So it's something to definitely think about when you're laying out your base now. Enemies now flee things that are about to explode, so they won't just sit there and kind of hang out next to the turret that's going to explode and kill them, which I think's a pretty nice change. It makes them feel a little bit smarter, at least. Enemies remember trap positions that their faction has encountered before and avoid them. So if you're using like the rearmable deadfall trap, they will eventually figure out that maybe they shouldn't go there. Raiders opportunistically ignite crops on fire, which is mean, but if I was a raider, I guess I would totally do it. Pawns can now do job override checks to see if a new job should start before ending their current job. These are now used liberally to have pawns respond faster and more intelligently to changing conditions, especially in combat. Pawns check for job override when taking damage. Apparently this prevents a bug with a centipede where you can kill him at close range while he tries to take a firing position. Enemies no longer take unpowered player turrets as primary targets. Pawns choose Skygaze, Wander, Eating, and other positions by traversing the region graphic instead of by stuff. Basically what this change does is it makes it so they won't walk as far. You won't have someone decide to go Skygaze or Wander on like literally the other side of the map. They'll kind of stay close to home, I guess. Traps added a deadfall trap. simple rearmable trap that falls on enemies and damages them. In the video, the raider that walked through one of these traps just got his arm hurt, I believe, but Tynan said that it can one-shot enemies if it hits them in the right spot, and also your colonists will typically try to avoid them, but if you force them to path through them, there's a chance that they will trigger them, so be careful with that. Maybe take advantage of the new zone feature that we will be talking about in a moment. Also added an IED trap, which is an artillery shell connected to a trigger that detonates after a short delay. That's important, after a short delay. So it's like a landmine with a little delay. And then you have an incendiary IED, which is the same thing, except it sets fires instead. Now we have a few new events or incidents. Toxic fallout, a toxic cloud that lasts for days or weeks. It kills plants, rots food, and slowly poisons people outside. Toxic buildup in characters leads to vomiting, dementia, and eventually death. New incident, volcanic winter, lasts weeks or months and significantly reduces temperatures and light levels, leading to poorer harvests. New incident, Manhunter Pack. A pack of deadly wargs arrives and stalks the local area for a while before moving on. Fight them or hide inside. So, this showed one of the, I'm assuming it applies to all animal AI, but one of the new events, and basically he spawned the warg pack, and it's just like a group of hyper-aggressive wolves, basically, from what it looked like. And animals no longer attack doors. At least these didn't. So I'm assuming that just all animals don't attack doors anymore. I could be wrong, but it seemed like animals don't attack doors. I say it seemed like because these were the only animals that were hostile in the video, but they didn't attack the doors. So enough about the doors. Alright. Basically what these guys do is they will actually hang out in front of your base, and they are hostile to everything. So if like friendlies come in, they'll attack the friendlies. If raiders come in, they'll attack the raiders. So you'll need to kind of make sure your colonists stay out of the way. Like I said, they won't attack doors. So as long as you keep them inside, you're okay. And if you're worrying about keeping them inside, then there's a new zone feature that we'll talk about in just a second, where it makes it really easy. Another incident is the chased refugee. A refugee radios and offers to join the colony if you'll fight the raiders on his tail. So the way this works is a person will radio in saying, "I'm in trouble, can you help me?" And basically you can either say, "Yes, we'll help you," in which case they'll spawn somewhere in the map, and then pretty much they'll instantly be one of your colonists, and they'll make a beeline for your base. Raiders will come in shortly after they spawn on the map. So you get a colonist, but you'll have to fight off some raiders. You can also alternatively just flat out refuse them, and I'm assuming the raiders won't come since the person didn't come. So you do have the option of either accepting them as a new recruit or telling them, "Go away, I don't care." Another new incident is Psychic Soothe, which is pretty much the opposite of Psychic Drone. They get in the video, it was a 15-point mood bonus. So there you go. And the one that popped up in the video was for females, so I'm assuming there's one for males. I don't know if there's one for everyone that's all-inclusive, or if it's gender-specific. But it's a nice little mood buff that you get. So another big change is the allowed areas. Assign colonists to allowed areas. Every item and location outside the allowed area is considered forbidden. So basically think of this as setting up a zone, and then in the little manager area where you could set up their like work schedule for the time work schedule, you can pick what zones that they belong to. So if you have the wargs show up, then you can designate like the inside of your base as indoors or something, and then toggle the colonists to only be allowed to stay indoors, so they won't go anywhere outside of that zone. So you can really kind of pick and choose where you want certain colonists to go. And also, if like for instance the Manhunter pack happens, or you have like toxic fallout, you want to make sure everyone's inside. It helps you keep your colonists safe, and doing it without having to constantly micromanage them and make sure people aren't wandering around where you don't want them to. Storyteller changes, just changes based on population. Randy's events are affected by population somewhat. Storytellers will never entirely disallow events because of population, and retune storyteller population intent based on new output tables for smoother population game with higher maximum and better recovery at small populations. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So yeah, Ice Sheet Biome is now playable, though perhaps not survivable. We will find out. Miscellaneous added Strip Designator to reduce stripping micromanagement. I love this. I really love this. Basically, it's a little tool. So you have just a pile of corpses littering your base. All you gotta do is click the strip tool, drag and drop the box, and everyone will get designated to be stripped. It is super time saving and awesome. You can now toggle allowing sowing in a growing zone. So I haven't seen this. He didn't show it off in the video, but basically I'm assuming that you can tell them, hey, don't work this field. Kind of like you can if you've ever played Banished. So this will be good if, say, your growing season's almost over and you don't want them to waste time planting plants that you know will eventually die. You can tell them not to worry about it, and they can just go on about their business without worrying about that field. Now doors can also be held open. So this is going to be another one of those toggle things, unless it's an auto door. An auto door will automatically open. If you click it, it'll just, if you like tell it to stay open, it will just always be open. If it's a regular door, I believe a colonist will have to go over and open it. But you can use this to do some interesting like lures and traps, I bet. So that's something that we might be playing around with whenever we start setting up traps. Door locking is now door forbidding. So it's clearer. For some reason, I thought that we tried this door forbidding thing. I don't know why I'm trying to click stuff. I thought that this was in like another one of the builds, and then it was changed back to door locking. I don't know. But basically, it puts a big red X over the door saying, hey, it doesn't work. Added copy-paste functionality for storage zone and building settings, which is pretty awesome for when we're setting up our pantries and stuff like that, and they're just general stockpiles. World data now saves into map file to prevent game state confusion with multiple saves on one world. You can now build snowmen. You can now remove floors to reveal terrain underneath, which is, I think, a pretty awesome change. Not like super world-shattering amazing, but you know, if you find a nice little building that you like and maybe you want to tear it down for the resources and then lift up the floors to get at the dirt underneath so you can farm it or something like that, then there you go. Or if maybe you changed your mind or made a mistake and didn't want to floor as many areas as you did, then you have the option to fix that. So that's pretty cool. You can now perform surgery on guests. Violating surgery will anger their faction. So I guess don't go harvesting their kidneys or anything. Guests are smarter and no longer walk out of the colony while bleeding. Added new hairs. Slave trader is now a pirate merchant and can still show up to buy slaves even when your population is high, though they may not carry any slaves. Hundreds more bug fixes, tuning changes, optimizations, and other small improvements. So that's yeah. That's it. That's RimWorld Alpha 11 Sappers and Trappers. Or Sappers and Traps, rather. So again, if you own the game, your Sunnyvale link is updated to the newest build, so go ahead and download it and play it. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in this. I think I did. I'm going to be running Modded RimWorld side by side with Alpha 11 because we can change the save data location. I think I mentioned it though at the beginning. And that's something that we're actually going to do next. So, and also, again, just again, important. This build will not load old saves or old worlds. Okay, so let's go ahead and see about getting this this little save data change thing. So inside your RimWorld zip that you get from your Sunnyvale link, there will be a README, and if you read the README, you will find overriding. You can override the save data folder. This is useful, for example, if you want to install the game on a USB stick, so you can plug and play it from anywhere. To do this, add this to the end of the command line used to launch the game. So you would add the hyphen save data folder space and then the path to where you want your data to be saved. If you want it to be saved in that root folder where the exe is, then you would just put in the save data folder and then just save data instead of the path. So let's try to get this going. I'm going to make a shortcut. I'm not sure if there's a way to do this without the shortcut, but creating a shortcut is the only way I know of getting the target line up. So this is what we're going to do. Make a shortcut. right click it, go down to properties, and you're going to get this target line. This is basically the computer telling the exe to execute. So at the end of the target line, you're going to want to put a space, and then I'm just going to copy this save data because this is what I want. I want it to save in this root folder, and then I'm going to make sure I'm at the end of the line, paste that in there, and now what this is going to do is it's actually going to create a folder called save data in this folder whenever I launch with a shortcut. And because I don't like having stuff on my desktop, I know there's the recycle bin, but I don't like having other stuff, I'm actually just going to put this down here, and it's going to be a pin for the shortcut, which I'm now going to delete. And this should work. Fingers crossed. This should work. I've tested it and it worked. So if it doesn't work, then I'm just really bad. But now we should be able to launch this, and it will create the save data folder inside of this root folder. Haha, there it is right there, save data. So that means I know it works, which makes me feel a little more secure about myself. Alright, so if you do change your save location, then you will obviously need to play with your keybinds if you've edited any keybinds. We are going to be changing it back to Fahrenheit. I would like the game to pause on load and change it to great quality. Everything else should be just fine and dandy. Let me make sure. Take a screenshot. So whenever I hit to record, I'll be taking a screenshot. It would be nice if there's a way to clear, so we just don't have a hotkey there. So if anyone's listening, I would like a way to clear the hotkeys. I know I can go in and edit the files, which I've done before, but we're not doing that now. Right now, we are going to create a world. And this one is going to be not iHub, although iHub is a pretty great name. This is going to be Alpha 11 generate. Haha, now we have these little tutorials. I'm going to leave them up just because in Modded RimWorld I took them off and it's bugging out the UI and making it glow. Alright, so we have we actually have ice sheets with mountains on them before. I'm not sure if they've always had mountainous regions, but whenever I actually tried to pay attention, ice sheets have always been completely empty. But we're gonna play in an ice sheet, so we're gonna be somewhere. We're gonna figure it out. All right, so that's gonna be our world. Let's make a new colony. We're gonna play on Randy Random on. I kind of want to go ahead and do extreme, but I think we might die right away. I think we might die right away, anyways, because we're gonna be on an ice sheet. But we'll put it on challenge for right now and see how it goes in the beginning. We can always turn it up later. Alright, so let's go ahead and play on Randy Random. We're going to use Ras Alia, the world, using Alpha 11 as the seed. And our landing site. I kind of like over here, just kind of in the middle of this tundra. These are really mountainous regions. Is there a region with just hills that's kind of open? Let's do something with hills. And I'm used to all of the... I shouldn't say I'm used to it. I've come to expect all of that crazy moddedness. Crazy moddedness? That doesn't even make sense. We're gonna go right here because it's got limestone and slate, the two best rocks in the entire world. Advanced, we're going to make you a large game. Yes, we know performance. Select that site. Let's go ahead and get started. We already have a cannibal. Is this telling me that I should randomize until I get 3 cannibals and run 2 cannibalist colonies at once? I mean, and he's a psychopath. It's so tempting now. It's so tempting to see if we can get another cannibal. I'm just gonna see if I can get one real quick. Oh, we got another one. Maybe we should do another cannibal colony. Hoping for psychopath and cannibal all at the same time would be a little too much. You know what? I kind of want to do another cannibal colony. I don't know why. I guess it would make it easier when raiders come. They would die on the ice sheet, and they would be frozen and perfectly preserved for us to go out and get at our leisure. So that's something that would be pretty awesome. Alright, this one's taken a little too long. The other one I feel was relatively quick. Hopefully I didn't click over one. Come on now. Come on now, just cannibal. Give me a cannibal and I'll take whatever we got. I promise. I promise. Prepare carefully made this way too easy. Come on now. Come on though. I feel like it's not gonna happen. The game knows what I'm trying to do, and it doesn't want me to do it. But I'm gonna keep going. If I click over it, I'm gonna be so salty. I'm gonna throw my monitor against the wall. I'm not going to. Come on now. I think I'm gonna pause the recording and see how many clicks it takes to get to the center of a cannibal pop. BRB. We have succeeded. That only took about 10,000 years. It really took about 2 minutes. And I feel like everyone just sits here and spam clicks to get the optimal roll on these guys or something like that. I'm spam clicking to get cannibal. We already have a cannibal colony, but cannibals are always more entertaining. So let's check out who we have, because I haven't actually looked at any of their stats or anything about them. So we have Ina Vincent, female. She's 37. She was a medieval lordling and an herb world entrepreneur, and capable of nothing, which is pretty awesome. She's trigger happy, which makes her shooting 0. There's a new order to this, and I don't like it. I'm not used to it. Her shooting is actually 0. That doesn't mean she can't shoot, it just means she's really bad at shooting. But I guess the one time she did it, she was just like, bang bang, this is awesome. She's psychically deaf, which is pretty cool. And of course she's a cannibal, so she's really good at social, so she would definitely be our main warden. The main warden and person that does the trading. Crafting and research, you know, that's actually pretty good too, so she can do those 3 things. Now we have an herbalist, which is pretty awesome, so we're gonna have an expert grower. Again, a shooting skill of 0. Her melee is 2, her melee is 1. So from a defensive military standpoint, we're not doing that great. Just gonna go and throw that out there. She's actually, let's check out Vincent real quick. Health wise, she's got a stab scar on her right leg. I feel like just a scar wouldn't impede your movement. Now if the muscles were damaged, or there's like scar tissue in there where the muscles are, that's a different story, but just a scar, come on though. Lilu, back to Lilu. Lilu May. She was a cave world tender and an herbalist as an adult. She's lazy, so she's got that work speed penalty. Psychically sensitive, so that kind of sucks, and she's also a cannibal, of course. Medicine is awesome. This is why I love herbalists, because they generally have good medicine and growing stats. And, well, that makes sense, because that's what they get. Yeah, I'm dumb. Alright, let's go ahead. She's interested in cooking, which gives us hope. So she'll be our kind of caretaker, house mom sort of person. She does the growing and stuff, and capable of nothing, which is great. The growing and the medicine and the cooking and help with a little bit of research. Again, she sucks at shooting. Next we have Starry the clerk. Did we check Lilu for injuries? I don't think we did. She's okay though. Alright, now we have Starry the clerk. Faina Starry Duarte. She was a medieval slave, followed by a civil servant. She has a chemical fascination, so that's going to be interesting. She can attack things a little bit better than everyone else, which is good, but again, not super great. Social skill is decent. Cooking is actually pretty solid. Growing, again, is pretty solid, and mining, which is great. None of these guys are really interested in construction, which kind of sucks, but they're all going to be equally bad. None of them are going to make fun of the other one. Star's going to be like, I'm the greatest constructor in the world, bow before me and my mighty Lincoln logs. That's a thing, if you don't know what Lincoln logs are. I'm not crazy. Alright, so yeah, also decent in art. Not decent, but at least interested in art. So we have our food situation pretty much handled, provided we can get inside and take shelter and not freeze to death. But let's go ahead and click start. We'll load the world, take a quick peek around, and then that's going to wrap up this episode. We did a lot. We went over the patch notes, which took quite a while. We made our world. We decided on an ice sheet, and we randomized some cannibalists. I guess it's not really random if I got cannibalists, but I don't know why I like that trait. It just makes the game more entertaining. And of course, this is going to adversely affect everyone else, because in Modded RimWorld we have 6 cannibals, so we can hold off for quite a while on our own. But in this, we don't have 6. Alright, let's go ahead and pause. I just want to make sure... World. Yes, world. We are on an ice sheet, and it is not as cold as I previously thought it would be. Right off the bat, we have this building and this building right here that we can take advantage of, which is pretty great. And I'm thinking this is going to be home cave for us right here. We have this building as an entryway and just slowly kind of dig in. Got a little bit of plasteel right next to us, right next to us, which is pretty great. Some steel that is relatively close by. We're going to definitely need some parkas. What are you guys wearing? I'm just curious. Just a jacket and pants. No pants, just a jacket and a t-shirt and pants. So collectively, you guys make up one set of clothes. Alright, yeah, so we're going to be building a little home in here, and then like I said before, this is going to be our home cave. It's got some plasteel in it, it's got some silver in it, or not some silver, some compacted steel in it, and a little building over here that's probably full of angriness. But yeah, welcome to the ice sheet, where it is June, so the middle of summer, and it is 26 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So yeah, next episode we're going to start building. Next episode's probably going to be following this one within a few hours. That's what I'm going to start doing whenever I start a new series, because the first episode is generally kind of long-winded, a lot of me talking and stuff, and a lot of setup. So the next episode should be up a little while after this one goes up. Yeah, so hopefully you guys are excited about the new patch, and again, if you're worried about Modded RimWorld going away, I'm going to run that alongside this one, so there's just going to be 2 RimWorlds a day. And yeah, if you are interested in the game and haven't bought it, definitely go buy it. Links in the description below where you can purchase it, and it is $30. It will eventually be on Steam. It has been greenlit, so it is eventually going to be on Steam. But disclaimer, if you purchase it now, there is a chance you may not get a Steam key. The FAQ said something about if you purchased it before November something in 2014, then you should be guaranteed a Steam key. If you purchase it after, they'll have to kind of see how it goes with Steam, because Valve can be kind of a dick, apparently. Not apparently, they can be. But they added a refund policy, so maybe they're changing. There is hope. And there is also hope for this ice sheet colony full of women, but that will have to wait for the next episode. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.